The representatives of the UN member countries highly regard Kazakhstan's initiatives aimed to address global challenges and threats and its commitment to fight international terrorism. 80 countries have already signed the Code of Conduct to achieve a world free of terrorism proposed by Kazakhstan. The established international coalition against terrorism is expanding. Recently, the Anti-Terrorism Code was signed by the countries of the Caribbean, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Really, this is a very important issue to all members of the UN. The scourge of terrorism is threatening all of us, threatening our present and our future and our upcoming generations. It's a threat which is not confined to one part of the world or one region. It is a threat which is cross-border, which is transnational, affecting everyone. And there is cognizance that this global threat cannot be addressed but by global action, global collective action. No one country alone can address this threat or this challenge individually. It has to be a collective effort. And really here comes the importance of this meeting organized by the Mission of Kazakhstan and the UN OCT, Office of Counter-Terrorism.
The giant of the local ferrous metal industry, Aksu ferroalloy plant, is modernizing production. Introduction of advanced equipment will not only increase the production volume, but significantly reduce energy consumption as part of the plant's management's effort to improve the environment. In a short time, a hermetic furnace will be installed here, a revolutionary undertaking in the ferroalloy processing, according to experts.
Данный агрегат позволит увеличить производительность на 28 тысяч тонн.
This machine will increase productivity by 28,000 tons. In general, during the reconstruction of the entire workshop, it will allow increasing the productivity from 328,000 tons to 440,000 tons annually. This will also reduce the emission of gases into the atmosphere. Purification of emission gases will be at 99.98%.
Очистки газа, которые не позволят выбросы в атмосферу.
Part of the emitted gases will be used for heating the raw materials in buckets. According to experts, the loss of electricity will decrease by 20%. This will affect the cost of production. The cost of the end product will be reduced 5%. In addition, automated management will ensure efficiency of all the production processes.
Таких печей не существует в Казахстане. Я думаю, что...
There are no such furnaces in Kazakhstan. I think that even in the CIS there are none. This is the newest furnace, more than 80 megawatts of carrier power. What else is unique about it is that the furnace consists of multi-block heaters, where the mine material will be heated.
Подогреватели, в которых будет подогреваться шахтовой материал.
Aksu ferroalloy plant has invested 27 billion tenge in the implementation of the project. This is only the first stage of the modernization of the smelting workshop. In the next 3 years, the company intends to modernize 3 more furnaces. In the Karaganda region, innovative technologies are being introduced to search for copper deposits. Explorations are now carried out with the help of drones that conduct a thorough aerial survey. Geologists are now studying the Ozornaya field. Drones, unlike other aircrafts, allow the researchers to survey the terrain at low altitudes. The project is implemented jointly with the Canadian company, a world leader in electrical survey sensing technology. Traditional technologies are also used here to explore the fields. After all the studies, the geologists will compare the data and then make a decision on the start of the field development. Now we can shorten the time for exploration to 1 month by using quadricopter and a drone. The results of the survey are usually available within 10 days. Special expert team defines the exact location for drilling. So in just 40 days, we can finish a large amount of work. One of the largest business forums in the Eurasian Economic Union, Eurasian Week 2019, will be held in Bishkek on September 25th to 27th. Prime ministers and deputy prime ministers of the member countries, the Eurasian Economic Commission leaders, and business communities will meet at Alarcha state residence. The participants will discuss the results of the half-decade of the Eurasian Economic Union Treaty, ways to cooperate with foreign partners, and create export opportunities. An agriculture and food industry fair will be held as part of the event. The European Union and Turkmenistan are working on a framework agreement on the supply of Turkmen gas to Europe. The basis for the partnership is the Declaration on the Development of Cooperation in the Field of Energy between Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and the European Union, signed on May 1, 2015. Lubomir Freeboard, EU Charge d'Affaires in Turkmenistan, said that the development of Turkmen gas supplying infrastructure is an attractive cooperation area for European investors, which also increases the energy security for the European Union. Kazakhstan and Tajikistan are stepping up their cooperation. The parties have signed 11 agreements worth $80 million. The agreements were made in supply of grains, agricultural products, rail parts, and buses. Kazakhstan will supply 30 tons of fittings for the Tajik hydroelectric power plants amounting to $16 million. According to the official data, trade turnover between Kazakhstan and Tajikistan in 2018 totaled $846 million. Exports from Kazakhstan to Tajikistan grew 14%. Between August 22nd and 23rd, Tashkent will host the 3rd International Congress of the World Society for Preservation and Popularization of the Cultural Heritage of Uzbekistan. At the event, the organizers will present 14 volumes of new books dedicated to the cultural and historical masterpieces of the country. Moreover, screening of documentary series titled Cultural Heritage of Uzbekistan will be held at the Congress. This series focuses on Uzbekistan's art pieces kept in the museums of Poland, France, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Uzbekistan. Panshanbe Market is one of the brightest sightseeing sites of Tajikistan, located in Khujand. The bazaar was here since the Middle Ages. It was drastically modified in 1964 when, instead of open-air rows, the main pavilion and many stalls, tents, and shops adjacent to it were built. Half a century later, the entrance arch was coated with marble and decorated with traditional ornaments. It is always noisy here, since not only the residents of the city but also neighboring villages flock here for shopping. This bazaar is Central Asia's largest bazaar, but due to the urban sprawl here, it is very crowded and very noisy, and this is exactly how Oriental bazaar should look like. There's a great choice of fruits, vegetables, sweets in the bazaar. Bargaining is a big part of the culture. The locals mainly trade local Tajik products. The Tajik bazaar is famous for the variety of the locally made flatbread. There are about 50 kinds of it. Fatiri hormahzor is made from shortbread dough with nuts. Kulcha is like boiled roll. Tunukcha is a dietary bread where the dough is based on water. Every celebration, every home gathering features flatbread. When a bride says yes to her groom's proposal, when she first comes to the groom's parents' house, the flatbread is shared among all the guests so they can eat a piece to the happiness of the young couple. Kurut hard cheese balls is a national Tajik dish and sold everywhere here. The bazaar has a great assortment of spices as well. The administration is planning to organize an overnight trade in the market, so Panshanbe will soon turn into the first round-the-clock market of Tajikistan. Kazakhstan has launched an unusual culinary tour. A large food fair was organized in St. Petersburg, showcasing the gastronomic capabilities of the Kazakh cuisine. The event was organized by the National Tourism Company with the support of the Kazakh Embassy and the General Consulate of Kazakhstan in St. Petersburg. Manti with cherry, camel pate, fish sausages, and camel milk ice cream surprised even the most sophisticated gourmet guests.
I think it's very interesting to see, because it's very different to different cuisine. I can see it's very different also to Russian cuisine. I have some experience with Georgian cuisine as well, but what I can see is very different to all these three types, and obviously I've been around all over in the world.
Domestic chefs cooked delicious dishes during the 2 days. All the ingredients were brought from the Kazakh capital of Nur-Sultan. Now the upcoming plan is that the presentation of the tourist potential of Kazakhstan in this format will take place in other Russian cities.
те вкусы.
We take as basis those familiar tastes that have been passed down from generation to generation. Then we upgrade the technologies and incorporate new trends of the gastronomy. I look for inspiration by going to the steppe, breathing the fresh air, touching the earth, spending time in a village. And then I go somewhere in Europe to learn the technologies, then mixing all of it together. And then usually the new dishes turn out to be special.
Вместе миксуешь, соединяешь, и выдается что-то, получается интересно.
Gastronomic tourism is only one of the areas presented by the Kazakh specialists. The event was designed to target business and event tourism. Experts say that Kazakhstan has the chances to develop these areas. Excavations of the ancient city of Aktobe were resumed in Atrau. This was the region's major craft center since the times of the Golden Horde. According to the local archaeologists, at its height, the city had a population of 10,000 people. Jewelry and crockery, processed bone products, coins are just a few of the artifacts found here. Scientists say that the finds are very interesting and important. They allow learning more about the lifestyle of the people who inhabited the Caspian region many centuries ago. We used to think that there was only one cultural layer in the settlement. However, this year we went deeper and it turned out that there are at least 3 cultural layers here. The first finds of the settlement belong to the 14th and 15th centuries. In the era of the Golden Horde, the city of Aktobe was one of the most important points located along one of the trade routes of the Great Silk Road connecting Europe and Asia. The first archaeological work started here in the 1970s, but then were stopped. They were renewed in 2017. Remains of dozens of buildings were found during the excavations of the industrial zones. These were workshops where glass, floated metal, minted coins were made. For scientists, every little thing is important. For example, we found a lot of fragments of tiles with various coatings. This confirms the descriptions of the city by the travelers, recalling the beautiful buildings built here in the 14th and 16th centuries. The ancient settlement of Aktobe is listed as a historical and cultural monument of the Atrau region. In the future, the local officials are planning to create an open-air museum here. New exhibition, The Great Steppe History and Culture, has been opened in the National Archaeological Museum of Macedonia. This country has become another participant in the grand project, The Tour of the Golden Man in the Museums of the World, organized by Kazakhstan. The exposition travels from a country to country to introduce the visitors to the history of Kazakhstan. The exhibition collection features items from domestication of horses to the Botai culture, which is 5,000 years old, to silver jewelry of the 19th and 20th centuries. A total of 292 exhibits from the Kazakh National Museum are included in the exhibition.
Почему мы выбрали Македонию? Потому что эта страна имеет очень много общего с нашей страной.
Why did we choose Macedonia? We have a lot in common with this country. We have similar mentalities. Skopje was once the center of the Roman Empire. Troops were stationed here, laying roads and routes to Europe and other countries from here. We have mutual relations related to our Golden Man, dating back to the 2nd century before Christ. We have been walking in parallels as societies.
2 века до нашей эры, и вот как бы они находят параллели, и не только они, мы сами.
The Golden Man, of course, is the main highlight of the exhibition. The armory embroidered with golden plaques, the conical headdress decorated with golden plates, in the form of arrows, snow leopards, argali, horses and birds, arouse a great deal of interest among visitors. The symbol of Kazakhstan is accompanied by the collection of archaeological finds of the early Iron Age from the Issyk Mount, where the burial of a noble Saka warrior was discovered in 1969.
Your Kazakhstan culture from everywhere, especially the Golden Man, as you call it. It's like somebody says inside it was Tutankhamun of Kazakhstan, and all we know the value of Tutankhamun and who it was.
Within the framework of the exhibition, an exchange of experiences took place between the museum workers, archaeologists, scientists from Kazakhstan and Macedonia.
В лекции представлены и новые технологии, которые используются в казахстанской науке.
We will give lectures presenting the latest technologies that are used in Kazakhstan's archaeological science, including the method of laboratory excavation. In the excavation works, the main and critical work phase is transferred from the field to the laboratory. Archaeologists, restorers, paleologists, anthropologists, and paleozoologists are then engaged in the lab studies. This gives a more focused and precise research result. This also enhances the research approaches. The aim of the exhibition is to introduce the foreign audience to the rich historical and cultural heritage of Kazakhstan. Over the past 2 years, the main exhibit of Kazakhstan has already been in Minsk, Moscow, Baku, Shan, Gdansk, Seoul, Kazan, and Tashkent. In Macedonia, the exhibition will remain open until August 11. Kazakh pianist has impressed London's sophisticated audience. At the solo concert, Nurgul Nisibzhanova performed such famous compositions as Sonata Fantasy No. 2 by Alexander Scriabin and Dumka by Pyotr Tchaikovsky. She also performed classical pieces by the Kazakh composers. The cultural event was organized by the Embassy of Kazakhstan in the United Kingdom. The Kazakh pianist grew up in a musical family. Her father, Nurgali Nisibzhanov, is a famous singer, people's artist of Kazakhstan, state prize laureate. Her mother is a music teacher. Nurgul graduated from the specialized music school for gifted children in Almaty. She has earned world acclaim by competing in international music contests. Nurgul is one of the few Kazakh musicians who have been honored to perform at the Carnegie Hall in New York.
Хотела познакомить публику с интересными обработками казахских.
I wanted to introduce the London public to the interesting musical arrangements of the Kazakh songs. These songs can be performed not only on the authentic folk instruments but also on the classical ones. It would be great if more people got interested in such music. I can share my notes. We have beautiful music and it steals people's hearts.
У нас очень красивая музыка, я думаю, она не пройдет мимо ушей.
A lot of spectators showed up to enjoy the musical masterpieces. They appreciated the creative gift from Kazakhstan and said they would attend Kazakh concerts again.
We had four, I believe it was four, different Kazakh composers. Immediately recognizable was the scent, was the feeling of the East, right, of the steppe, the flowers, the mountains. You could tell from the melody it was different, very inspiring, and very beautiful.
Absolutely wonderful. Nurgul has a wonderful talent that not only is very proficient in terms of the technical aspects of the music, but the feeling and the emotion, which in my view is much more important, really is very profound.
This was Nurgul Nisibzhanova's debut in London. The musician has big plans. The pianist will continue her education and performing abroad. She hopes that more and more people will discover Kazakhstan and the vibrant music of the Great Steppe. Original sound of the Korean drums can be heard in the capital of Kazakhstan. A concert of traditional Korean art performance Nongak was held in Nur-Sultan. Nongak is a popular performing art derived from communal rites and rustic entertainment. It combines a percussion ensemble, parading, dancing, drama, and acrobatic feats. From the Korean language, Nongak can be translated as rural or farmers' music. The concert was given by one of the most prominent representatives of this art. A total of 21 artists from the Nongak Conservation Society of Pyeongtaek Province and Gyeonggi-do Province participated in the concert.
한국의 무형문화유산으로 등록이 되어 있고요.
Nongak was the performing art not of the aristocracy but of the common people. At that time, the society mainly consisted of farmers. Our ancestors performed Nongak when they were engaged in cultivating the land or at the end of a hard day's work, but also during traditional Korean holidays to raise the general mood and morale. The concert program included 8 numbers that go from playing the drums to virtuoso tricks of rotating ribbons attached to traditional hats.
이 음악은 이제 귀족들을 위한 음악은 아니고
Today, Nongak music is quite popular and fits harmoniously into the modern life of Korea. In 2014, this art was added to the list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity by the UNESCO. Nongak music is still alive because it is carefully passed down from one generation to another.